Naked and Afraid Poppers Apocalypse Episode 1 is a jaw-dropping, nerve-wracking, and totally unique start to the newest chapter in the Naked and Afraid franchise. This time, the show takes everything fans love about survival TV and cranks it up to the max. 12 experienced survivalists are dropped into a scorched, post-apocalyptic wasteland in South Africa, where the land looks like something out of a video game or disaster movie. There's no lush jungle, no tropical river, and no easy way out. Instead, the contestants are surrounded by burnt earth, abandoned buildings, and the constant threat of lions, hyenas, elephants, and crocodiles. The twist: there's no extraction option. If you want to survive, you have to make it all the way to the end, 35 days, by finding your own way back to civilization. The episode opens with a haunting look at the landscape. The ground is blackened, the trees are dead, and the air is thick with ash. Contestants like Teal Waz and Miranda immediately realize this is nothing like any challenge they've faced before. This is like the end of the world, Teal says, and it's hard to disagree. The show's narrator explains that this part of South Africa was once rich and fertile, but decades of drought, disease, and wildfires have turned it into a graveyard. The survivalists are dropped in 4 different zones: a mine, a junkyard, a medical facility, and a ghost town. Each team gets a pot, a fire starter, and 1 personal tool, but that's it. No food, no water, and definitely no clothes. Right away, the teams are hit with the reality of their situation. The sun is brutal, the ground is covered in thorns and sharp debris, and there's almost no shade. Temperatures soar over 100 degrees during the day and plummet at night. The first priority for everyone is water, but the nearest sources are miles away, and every step is a struggle. The teams have to scavenge for anything useful: old tires, metal scraps, glass bottles, and even parts from abandoned vehicles. The landscape is so harsh that even the most experienced survivalists are pushed to their limits. Waz, who's done 140 days of Naked and Afraid and never tapped, admits this is a whole new level of difficulty. As the teams move out, the dangers become clear. There are signs of predators everywhere: fresh bones, animal tracks, and the constant sound of distant growls. The contestants know they're not just fighting the elements, but also competing with Africa's deadliest animals for water and shelter. In one tense moment, Stephen, Alexa, and Frank encounter a massive, aggressive elephant near their water source. The elephant charges, and the team has to scramble to safety, realizing that even their best efforts to build a protective wall of thorns and debris might not be enough to keep them safe at night. The scavenging scenes are some of the most interesting in the episode. Contestants use their creativity and bushcraft skills to turn trash into treasure. Old mud flaps become makeshift shoes, wire is twisted into fishing hooks, and a wheelchair is repurposed to haul supplies. Amber, Joe, and Kel find an abandoned medical facility and use parts of a wheelchair and fence wire to build a cart and shoes. Every little bit of ingenuity counts, because the environment is so unforgiving. Even the smallest injury, a cut from rusty metal or a thorn, could mean infection and disaster. But it's not just the environment that's tough. The social dynamics are just as brutal. With the pressure on, tempers flare and personalities clash. Joe and Kel, for example, butt heads over everything from how to build the shelter to whether or not to kill a monitor lizard for food. Their arguments get heated, and Amber worries that the tension could tear the team apart before the challenge even really begins. In a place where teamwork is the only way to survive, these conflicts add a whole new layer of drama. As night falls, the teams race to build their bomas before the predators come out. They use everything they can find: car doors, tires, metal sheets, and thorny branches to create a barrier between themselves and the wild. The first night is a test of nerves. The sounds of lions, hyenas, and elephants echo through the darkness, and everyone is on edge. Some teams manage to get a fire going, which helps keep animals at bay, but others struggle with the cold and the fear of what's lurking just outside their walls. Day 2 brings new challenges. The heat is relentless, and dehydration sets in quickly. Russell, one of the most experienced survivalists, is hit hard by heat exhaustion and dehydration. He becomes a burden on his team, unable to help with basic tasks like gathering firewood or fetching water. Teal and Waz are frustrated, knowing that every extra mouth to feed and body to protect makes survival harder. The show doesn't shy away from showing the physical and emotional toll this environment takes on everyone. Food is another major issue. With almost nothing growing in the Wasteland, the teams have to get creative. Stephen, Alexa, and Frank find guinea fowl eggs and cook them up, even though one contains a partially developed chick. It's not exactly appetizing, but in this environment, protein is protein. Amber tries to make a fish trap out of an old basket and copper wire, hoping to catch something in the muddy waterhole. Every calorie counts, and the contestants know that hunger will only make the days harder. The episode also highlights the importance of adaptability. Plans change constantly as teams realize that their original strategies won't work. Wes, Miranda, and Steve decide to focus on water and shelter first, putting off scavenging for supplies until they're sure they won't die of thirst. The ability to pivot and improvise is what separates the survivors from the quitters. By the end of episode 1, it's clear that this season of Naked and Afraid is unlike anything that's come before. The environment is harsher, the stakes are higher, and the margin for error is razor thin. The contestants are battered, bruised, and already questioning whether they can make it 35 days. The episode ends with everyone hunkered down for another night, exhausted but determined to keep going. The tension between team members simmers just below the surface, and the threat of predators is ever present. What makes Naked and Afraid Apocalypse so compelling is the way it strips survival down to its rawest form. There are no easy outs, no rescue helicopters, and no second chances. The only way to win is to work together, adapt to the environment, and push through the pain. The show's new format, no extraction, only escape, means that every decision matters, and every mistake could be fatal. For fans of survival TV, episode 1 is a must-watch. It's gritty, real, and full of moments that will have you yelling at the screen. Will the teams be able to overcome the environment and their own differences? Can they find enough food and water to keep going? And who will crack under the pressure first? The only way to find out is to keep watching as the apocalypse unfolds.